Ladies and gentlemen, the late British Prime Minister Winston Churchill once said that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This famous saying shows that fear affects people as much as they let it affect them. Fear only goes as far as you let it to go. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to address us on the topic, Fear Fosters Failure, I present to you a man who has been intimate with both the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, a justice of the peace, chartered financial consultant, author, consumer advocate, motivational consultant, television show host, and our presenter today, Dr. Godfrey McAllister.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Fear fosters failure. And I figure, boy, it's time that some girl fawn over me too. And so I decided I'm going to make my move. You know, I decided I like joy. Like joy a long time. But afraid to approach joy. And of course, I knew I stuttered. And under normal conditions, I stuttered. Much as under stress. But I decided I couldn't take it any longer. I was a normal person. I was doing well in school. I was bright. Why can't I have the joy of my life? And so I decided to make my move. So we ride bicycles, or used to ride bicycles in those days. Guyana is flat, at least Georgetown is flat. I went to the top boys' school. She went to the top girls' school. The top boys' school was Queen's College. The top girls' school was Bishop's High School. And as fate would have it, Queen's College was to the right, Bishop's was to the left, and in the middle of Queen's College and Bishop's High School was a street. What do you think the street name? Middle Street. And so the boys would get on their bicycles and race down to Middle Street. Well, the girls are ladies, huh? So they can't afford to be racing down, but they was racing to get to Middle Street. And then Queen's College boy and Bishop's girl pair off and go home to get lunch, and Godfrey McAllister. Me one. Anytime you see me with somebody, it's a boy. Something wrong. So I decided that today I'm going to talk to Joy. Yeah, man, Joy, my time now. So, man, I ride up behind Joy, man, and I saw her coming, and of course, I, strategically slowed down, until she passed. And I just strategically rode behind her. But Joy's with her friends. About 4 of them, riding. Your girls like to ride in groups, And so I went, and when I got close enough, I rang my bell a little bit, and she looked back, and I said, Jojo. And all I hear is Joy say, go where big head stammering Mac. And I obeyed. I rode as fast as I could ride. By the way, I was a cycle racing champion, actually. I rode as fast as I could ride. I broke all the records, I'm sure. When I got to my house, I used the front wheel of the bicycle. I threw the gate open, rode down to the back, threw the bicycle down, ran upstairs. I lived in a 3-story house, ran up the second flight of stairs, opened the door, opened my bedroom door, threw myself across the bed, and cried and cried and cried. I don't know how long after, but it seemed like an eternity after, I awoke. But when I awoke, this is a 3-story house. When I awoke, somebody else was in the room. Truth, they say, is stranger than fiction. Who do you think was in the room? Joy. Yeah, you guys watch too much of soap opera. But joy. Joy. Get a life. But joy. I awoke in front of my full-size mirror. It was as if I'd never seen me before. And I looked in the mirror and I saw my head and I saw the body. And I said, who that? And I said to myself, but Godfrey, you're not handsome. It's a mini series, eh? Cut a long story short. That day, at the age of 14, was the beginning of my turnaround. I couldn't do anything about the size of my head. And up to that point, I couldn't do anything about my stuttering. I later did, obviously. But I realized that I had to use what God gave me. What is the Bible verse for that? God said to Moses, "What is that in your hand?" It didn't make a difference what it was. Use it. And so I realized that what people wanted was affirmation. I realized that everybody has an ego, big like Mount Olympus. I realized that everybody wants to be a hero. Everybody wants to be made to feel important. And I set out on a mission to make all those around me feel important.